Welcome everyone. Qualifying underway here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway Roval. It's the last race in the round of 12. From here will be the round of 8. Right now we're watching Seth Wansing as he makes a qualifying run. The first of those on track at the moment. Jerry Brayo also getting on track. Ten of the 12 playoff drivers are in the field tonight. Cody Pennell, Thomas Andrews not present. Still a very intense battle at the top of the field. And at the cutoff line for the round of 8. Wansing about to begin his first lap. Josh Gaiman the fastest in practice, then Toby Estes in second. We'll see what the times look like here. Everyone has 2 laps to set a qualifying time. Wansing's on his first. Alexander, Gaiman, Estes, Brayo, Wansing, and Kerr all on track at the moment. Gives an idea on where Wansing is on the track at the moment. Down the back straightaway out of oval turn 2 into the chicane. Farley Wright, Donald Ray, Jacob Blankenship have also joined the track, as well as Kevin Feemster. So they're all beginning their qualifying runs. Wansing's first lap, provisional pull, 21.9. 81 second lap time is the margin to beat. Looks like Brayo will beat the second set of lap time. Lap in the books for Brayo. Is it good enough for pole? It is not. Not even good enough to actually register a time. Looks like an invalidated lap time for the 74. Wansing's approaching the chicane here. A little bit more aggressive on the chicane. Through oval turn 3 and 4. Jason Alexander will be the next set of lap after James Kerr. Was Wansing's lap faster? It should be. 121.9 was the lap to beat. He beat it by 7 tenths. 121.2 for Seth Wansing. Toby Estes immediately to the top of the board. James Kerr on his second lap. Gaiman top of the board now, 20.83 versus a 20.89 by Toby Estes. There's James Kerr on his second lap. Here's the 34, Jeremy Brayo, about to take his second lap. Is this good enough for a lap time? Should be. Look clean. P2, 20.87. And a somersault for good effort by Brayo. Stuck the landing. Farley Wright on his second lap. Sitting 6th. Withers Pinnell, Sears, and Ray, the playoff drivers that have yet to set lap times. Again, those in the round of 12 marked in silver and black. Those that are not in the playoffs are marked in the red and white. Bradley Wright out of the corner. Approaching the chicane. See if he can improve. It's really close to the top. Estes, Gaiman, Brea, Wanzing, and Blankenship all within a second of each other. Estes went provisional pole. Sears went P4. He puts himself right in range. Can Bradley close the gap? He did, enough to keep a hold of 7th from Kevin Feemster. Donald Ray looking to set his first time lap. This is his final qualifying lap. His first lap invalidated. Hop, skip, and a jump to the finish line for Donald Ray. And not a valid lap time. I was afraid that would not be a valid time, and it wasn't. John Smeal's going to be on a lap time here. Here we go. Going through the infield complex. Ooh, that's going to be a valid lap time for Smeal. Do the AstroTurf, and around he'll go. With just a minute left in qualifying, nobody on track able to set a lap time. So it looks like we are going to be done with qualifying. Toby Estes taking pole position here at Charlotte over Josh Gaiman, Jerry Breo, and Tom Sears. As the qualifying timer ticks away, we're going to lock in the starting grid here and move on to the race. Alrighty, here's what we're looking at right now. We're on race 32 of 36. Last race in the round of 12 here tonight. You can see here, 39 degrees the air temp, track temp 105 degrees. Pretty hot for a road course race here in October. 16 cars set to do battle here tonight. Starting grid looks like this. It's Toby Estes, Josh Gaiman, front of the field tonight. Jeremy Breo and Tom Sears in row number 2. Seth Wansing and Jacob Blankenship sits in row 3. Bradley Wright makes it 7 for 7 of playoff drivers in the top of the field. Kevin Phoemes was the first driver not in the playoffs in qualifying. Alongside James Kerr will be Ryan Pinnell in 10th. That makes up row 5. John Smeal, Matthew Kent in row number 6. Row number 7, Tommy Withers and Donald Ray. Jason Alexander and Brendan Roberts make up the last of the field in row number 8. See, we have about 2 hours and 30 minutes to play with a 50-lap race. Stages are on lap 15 and 30. That's when the stage breaks happen. Playoff grid's pretty tight. Jacob Blankenship's the only one locked in on point. Locked in at the moment. He won last week at Talladega. Tom Sears pretty well safe. Same with Josh Gaiman and Seth Wansing. Jimmy Breo seems pretty safe for the round of 8. He sits 5th. Toby Estes, a win would be pretty beneficial for him. But the cut line is where the biggest battle begins. Withers sits 18 points clear of the playoff cut line as it currently sits. Donald Ray sits 8 points clear of the cut line. Outside the playoffs, looking in to Andrews, Cody Pinnell, Bradley Wright, and Ryan Pinnell. And those outside the playoffs separated by only 5 points. It's a very close margin. Ryan Pinnell has advantage over both Ray and Withers tonight. He starts in 10th. Ray and Withers make up 12th and 13th on the grid. Stage points matter, as do where you finish in the end of the race. All of that's going to be very, very vital tonight. Again, Estes and Gaiman, front row of the field. Estes looking for his 3rd win of the season. Gaiman looking for his 5th win on the year. Jeremy Breo sitting in 3rd, looking for his 7th win of the season. And Tom Sears looking for his 2nd win. Sears sitting 2nd in points at the moment. Pretty well and truly locked in. If he can score points in stage 1, he is good to go and locked in for the round of 8. Brendan Roberts starting from the pit lane. The remaining 15 cars lined up and ready to go. Here we go, coming out of oval turn 4. It's about to get pretty spicy here at the front of the field. Pace car is in. They will go through the last chicane. Estes, Gaiman will receive the green flag. And away we go. We're green at Charlotte. Oh, Breo spins! Breo keeps it pointed in the right direction. He got it looped around, but to the back of the field he goes, from 3rd to 15th. So Estes leads over Gaiman, Sears, and Wanzing. Blankenship up a spot. So is Bradley Wright. Kevin Feemster's up a spot. Ryan Pinnell's up 2 spots, as is John Smeal. Donald Ray up 4 spots. Then it's Alexander and Withers in the top 12. Kent, Kerr, and Breo. Rounding out the top 15, Roberts, he'll be back. He'll be on the lead lap here. They just got to correct the scoring after that pit lane start. Battle at the front. Estes in the 19. Gaiman in the 61. Estes leads lap 1. Stage 1 ends on lap 15. And the race is on at the front. Top 3 still really close. Within 1.3. Sears keeping in the shadows of Estes and Gaiman. Someone tied the wall pretty hard. Who was it? Here's an interesting battle between Donald Ray and Ryan Pinnell. Pinnell looking to try to score some points here in the stages. Bit of a long shot. 13 points the gap between Donald Ray and Ryan Pinnell. Pinnell on the outside looking into the playoffs. But as it sits, Pinnell would be gaining a point in each stage, putting him within 11. The issue is that that's not going to be enough. For Donald Ray, he just needs to make sure that Ryan Pinnell stays in sight. Bradley Wright in 6th, posing an equally big threat in the playoffs here. That's Kevin Feemster in the number 1. Here's Bradley Wright challenging Seth Wanzing for the 5th spot. It's playoff points to the max that matter here tonight, especially for the 3 drivers trying to keep themselves in the line. Really 4 drivers, because Weathers is already down in 16th. This is crucial because Weathers entered tonight 18 points to the good. Oh, that's someone spun around. That's Alexander that got spun around, so Weathers will gain 1 spot here. But Weathers entered the night 18 points ahead of the cut line. As it sits, Pinnell would gain 3 points in this stage. Ray would gain 2 points. Bradley Wright would gain 4 points. No, he would gain 5 points. 5 points for 6th place. That gap comes down significantly. So he needs to keep himself in the hunt here. Even if stage 1 is a wash, they will have the stage break to kind of regroup everybody. His main objective now, don't go a lap down. At the front, Estes has pulled a little bit more of a gap. 1.2 the gap between Estes and Gaiman. Sears beginning to claw his way back forward. And then number 14, that 213 somewhere machine, sitting in 3rd ahead of Jacob Blankenship. Really good job so far. Blankenship holding himself steady, up 2 spots from where he started. Wanzing going up the hill. Rejoining the oval part of the track, going through oval turn 1, sits 5th. Bradley Wright slipped back a little bit. He's now a little bit closer as Ryan Pinnell takes 7th over Kevin Feemster. Breo's made his way back to the top 10. Ryan Pennell, for all it's worth, trying to hold on. He is currently 7th place at the moment. Donald Ray down to 10th. Brea way better at getting back on the throttle there out of the second chicane. And he will take 7th place away from his teammate. Brea not locked in by any means either. So playoff points really valuable to that 74 as well as to the 12. You saw that there's Ryan Pennell. There's Kevin Feemster and Donald Ray sitting in the 10th spot. Brendan Roberts trying to take Donald Ray out of the point situation entirely. Trying to get in as Brendan Roberts almost spins it. He's got a new car tonight. Instead of racing the typical Ford Mustangs that we've seen him in all season, he is in the Chevy Camaro for the first time this season. And he lost a lot of time, 3 seconds worth of time to Donald Ray. Matthew Kent sitting in 12th, right there behind. We have John Smeal in the 44, sitting in 13th, James Kerr in 14th, and Withers already 44 seconds behind the race leader. Estes doing really good right now, holding on to that lead. That gap is extended to 4 seconds as Sears has taken 2nd place. Gaiman has had himself an issue. He finds himself now in the 4th spot. Right on board with Josh Gaiman. As he takes on Jacob Blankenship. Kind of show you what game is looking like here. We'll pull up the speedometer. Third gear. Avoiding as much wheel spin as possible in that 61 machine. As now he tries to take it to the 85 of Blankenship. Up the gears, the 5th gear, gets off the brake, gets off the gas early onto the brake. Blankenship misses the chicane. He'll have a time penalty. He has to give that time up. And that'll put him right back in range of Josh Gaiman here. Gaiman using a little bit of the AstroTurf. Not nearly as adverse to the car as natural grass would be. And Gaiman's going to try to send it through turn 1. Right on board with him there. Blankenship didn't really fight it too awful much. Donald Ray in pit lane. Big deal for Donald Ray, who entered this race 8th in points by a slim margin. Alexander's still in pit lane. Actually, Alexander's race is over, effectively. Here's the view from above the commentary stand where we are here in Charlotte. See, players are trying to wheel it, trying to get back around Gaiman as they go through turn 1. Riley Wright coming across, sitting in the 7th spot. Both him and Ryan Pennell gaining a lot of points here over Donald Ray and Tommy Withers. Donald Ray coming out of pit lane. There he is. From high above, Donald Ray now a lap down. Withers still on the lead lap, however, albeit a little bit barely. There's Toby Estes going through oval turn 2 at the moment. He'll slow down for the second chicane. There's Tom Sears sitting in second place. He is 2.4 ahead of Josh Gaiman and Jacob Blankenship. Seth Wansing just now entering the chicane ahead of his teammate Jeremy Breo. Ryan Pinnell under threat from Bryn Roberts now. Ooh, a bit of a hiccup there for Pinnell. Pinnell will lose a spot to Roberts. Roberts to 8th, Pinnell back down to 9th. A slight hiccup there. But Pinnell still trying to race for his playoff hopes going into the round of 8. He wants to be one of those 8 drivers in. He entered the night 12th, last in the playoff field. But he'd be gaining 2 valuable points, would put him within 11 of Donald Ray. As it currently sits, Donald Ray, the first car, a lap down. See Ryan Pinnell trying to hold on. He's ahead of Donald Ray, who's a lap down. Battle at the front, getting a little bit more intense. This is a battle for second between Tom Sears and Josh Gaiman. Gaiman trying to get right back into that second spot. Tom Sears trying to hold on to it. Breo's back into the top 5 ahead of his teammate Seth Wansing. Whoa, Sears missed the corner. He missed the chicane. And he's probably going to give that spot up. He's going to give that spot right back to Gaiman. At the front, pretty clear and steady, Toby Estes with 5 to go in the stage. Estes sitting ahead of Gaiman by about 6.3. Closest battle is this battle right here. 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th. Pretty well in the conversation at the moment. Bradley Wright just 1 second ahead of Ryan Pinnell. This is, again, the closest battle we have on track at the moment. Everyone getting into a rhythm that, unfortunately, Stage 1 is going to completely get rid of here. In just a few laps' time. Really good chicane by Pennell there. Put himself within 7/10 of Withers. Not Withers, of Bradley Wright, sorry. Still a battle here for the 8th spot. Ryan Pennell in the 12. Bradley Wright in the 18. Bradley Wright doing a really good job right now holding on to that 8th spot. It's all about being smooth and consistent here. And see, someone's had a little bit of fun in the grass going through the infield. Ryan Pennell trying to apply that pressure. Again, Donald Ray not on the lead lap. Donald Ray hoping that Kerr is not lapped before the end of the stage, but it's going to be close. Really hot on the brakes there for Pennell, but he closes the gap in again. Pennell seems to be a little more comfortable on the brakes than Bradley Wright is at the moment, and that says a lot. Breo and Roberts are actually going to give up stage points here. Breo and Roberts, they're coming in before the end of stage 1, trying to get that track position for stage 2. They both come in. This will help Ryan Pennell out phenomenally. Brendan Roberts thinking long picture. Jeremy Breo also thinking long picture, giving him stage points, trying to get himself close to that race win. That helps out Ryan Pennell a ton, though, and Bradley Wright for that matter. Both of them outside looking in. And Donald Ray knows it. Donald Ray's watching both these drivers trying to knock him out of the playoffs. Unfortunately for Ray, James Kerr has gone a lap down. Withers may go a lap down as well. It'll be pretty fortunate if he doesn't go a lap down here. He is the next man up for Toby Estes to lap. Again, we're keeping an eye on this battle for the 6th spot. This is a lot in the permutations of the playoff competition here. Both Wright and Pennell entered outside the playoff cut line. Wright was in 11th. Ryan Pennell was in 12th. And both of them right now scoring some pretty significant points in the playoffs in the last round here in stage 1. Bradley, this is a battle for 5 stage points. Bradley has the 5 stage points in hand. Ryan Pennell sitting with 4. Bradley Wright entered the race 11 points behind Donald Ray. Ryan Pennell entered the race 13 points behind Donald Ray. Riding on board with Ryan Pennell. He's trying to chase down Bradley Wright. Still pretty good on the brakes there. We're in the last lap of stage 1. And that's the battle between Withers and Estes. Withers trying not to go a lap down. He will go a lap down. Can't really do much about it. Estes just so much faster. And for Estes, that was important because Gaiman was charging right up behind him. Closed the gap down from 6.3 to 1.3 over the last 5 laps. As Estes was catching lap traffic at the wrong spots. But he's gotten clear. This is going to be vital. Estes is entering the last chicane. Once the top 3 take the checkered flag for stage 1, the caution comes out. And the field is frozen from there. That's why they're starting to kind of race it out a little bit more. Because time is ticking. Bradley Wright should safely still hold on to 6th place here. But again, it's once the top couple make it to cross the line, there's the caution. Bradley Wright holds on to 6th place in the stage points. Estes, the winner of stage 1 over Josh Gaiman. Bradley Wright +6 or +5 in the stage point column. And that was very imperative that both those drivers scored stage points. Withers, the first car outside of the top 10, will not score points either at all. That was of utmost importance for the field. But now you see they've got to go back around and catch up to the pace car here because of where the caution was thrown. But a really good job of Ryan Pennell. Breo and Roberts, who pit before the end of stage 1, still score stage points as well. So they made out pretty well as well, because they will jump to the front here for the start of the second stage. Drivers coming down pit lane now. As we mentioned, Breo and Roberts will inherit the race lead here. So this battle, it gets really interesting. Kind of been doing some mental math here off to the side as we've been kind of working on it. So Ryan Pennell gained 4 points out of 13 needed. He now needs 9 more points ahead of Donald Ray to jump into the playoffs. However, Bradley Wright's still ahead of him. Bradley Wright entered this race 2 points ahead of Ryan Pennell. They were 11 and 13 points behind the playoff cut line entering this race. So Bradley Wright, look, Bradley Wright's in a better spot just because he finished in 6th place in stage 1. Bradley Wright shaved it down to 6 points needed. Ryan Pennell still needs 9 points as it currently sits. Withers outside of the points playoffs position as well. So both Withers and Ray missed stage points in stage 1. Bradley Wright's gained 5 points in order for both Wright and Pennell to get in. And it's not a guarantee in any circumstance by any means. Bradley Wright has gained 5 points on Withers, so that is 13 points needed to get ahead of Withers. So Withers, at some point between now and the end, if he wants to jump into 7th in the playoffs, 13 points is the margin now there. Ryan Pennell, a little bit more dangerous. For Ryan Pennell. As it looks like we're getting ready to double up here. Ryan Pennell still minus 19 at the moment. We're about to go back to green here. Breo's gained a point for leading a lap just by inheriting the race lead under yellow here. Withers will restart this race in 11th, but on the lead lap. Donald Ray, the first car lap down as it currently sits. The stage is effectively 11 green flag laps. Is effectively what it is. But chaos might start kind of breaking out a little bit here, because now the pressure's on. The pressure is genuinely on for both Withers and Ray to try to keep their playoff spots. Wright and Pennell are in the places where they want to be to score those points if they can hold on to them here in stage 2. It's Breo, Roberts, Estes, Sears, Gaiman, then I believe it's Seth Wanzing in outside row number 3. Then it's Wright, Pennell, Kent, and Blankenship in the top 10. Withers in 11th, Ray and Kerr. The first car is a lap down. Feemster a lap down as well in 14th. John Smeal 6 laps down. Jason Alexander out of this race, as we mentioned earlier. John Smeal trying to catch up to the pack. You see the red dot there on the mini map as he goes through the infield section of the road course. He should be able to catch up a little bit here. I'm not sure he's going to be with the group when we go green. See the field splitting at the chicane out of safety reasons, making sure that they don't have to really kind of deal with that situation. Let's see what Breo can do. Let's see what Brent Roberts can do. His first race. Part of the bow tie team here in Chevrolet. He sits outside front row for this restart. And they are going to bypass the infield. They're going to bypass the last chicane there. Green flag in the air, and away we go. Roberts still battling with Breo here from the outside of the front row. going to the infield road course. 11 laps in stage 2. Try to zoom out a little bit. Brea holds on to the race lead. Roberts sitting in second. Then it's Estes, Gaiman, and Sears in row number... Well, in the top 5. They're not side by side anymore by any stretch of the imagination. Estes, the fastest driver in stage 1, now in traffic. How does that compromise him for stage number 2? How quickly can he get around Roberts and Brea? A little bit further back. Riley Wright, Ryan Pinnell sitting behind Matthew Kent. Oh, watch out. Almost contact between the 31 and the 18. And that gives Ryan Pinnell P8, Blankenship down to 9th. Ray still a lap down. Still the first car a lap down. And that just gave Pinnell an advantage. But now he's going to get around his teammate in 31, who raced in the 24-hour race, the Arch race here Friday and Saturday. Seth Wansing sitting in 6th behind Tom Sears. But Brea still leads this race. 10 to go in stage 2. Brea trying to do what he can to run away and get some stage points here. Again, all he needs to do, if he can score maximum stage points stage 2, he's locked in. He's good to go. And that's what he's going to try to do. As long as he can score 10 stage points in this race, he's already scored 2. He finished 9th in stage 1. So a stage 2 win here would be very beneficial for Brea and would lock him in. Tom Sears locked in as well. He had the most points going into this race without being locked in. Blankenship was locked into this race by means of winning Talladega. Brendan Roberts sitting in 2nd. He is being a buffer. Tom Sears in pit lane. That's trouble for the 14 of Tom Sears in pit lane. I think there might be a little bit of damage on that number 14. So that speaks disaster for the 14. Granted, he's already locked into the round of 8 here just by merits of scoring points in stage 1. As you see side by side, Estes and Roberts going at it. Still side by side. Roberts not wanting to give it up, and he's not wanting to give it up to Josh Gaiman either. To get neither of those drivers locked in. Both of them sitting a little bit further down the order due to the effects of Talladega. Roberts held on to 3rd place, but he's let Estes go. Estes now able to give chase to Jeremy Brea. Estes' best lap, a 1:19.5. Jeremy's best lap was the last lap. It's a 1:19.7. Both drivers just ran their best laps in this race, that last lap. Same with Brendan Roberts. Gaiman, not so much the fact. Roberts and Gaiman still battling it out. That last lap, Toby Estes, fastest lap of the race, and 1:19.31 for the 19 of Toby Estes. Fastest lap, 6/10 faster than Jeremy Brea. And you see how much faster, how much more confident Estes is with this car on road courses at the moment. It's a pretty staggering difference. Roberts not out of it yet. Roberts just set the fastest sector 1. So Roberts is on it, as is Josh Gaiman, who just set the fastest sector 2. Fastest sector 3, who's going to have that? No one fast in Sector 3. No one set even personal best in Sector 3. But these 4 are in a cluster. Into Sector 4. The sector marks, for those looking at the map, they are marked by the dots. from the start-finish line to the end of Sector 1, goes to the first couple corners. Second dot marks Sector 2, or marks the end of Sector 2. The third dot on the back straightaway, which Tom Sears is approaching now, is the end of Sector 3, the start of Sector 4. Sector 4, by length, the longest sector on the track. So finally, a mistake was made by Bradley Wright. He has dropped down behind Tommy Withers, and Withers just smacked the wall. Withers trying to hold on to a stage point here, trying to make it a little bit harder. As Bradley Wright, 2 cars involved. They keep going, no caution. But obviously they're pushing hard, and that's going to give a little bit of reprieve to Tom Sears, who's going to try to catch up in the next 7 laps to at least one of those cars. Still at the front of the field, it's a 4-car breakaway. Seth Wansing in 5th, already 10 seconds behind the lead group. Jeremy Breo leading this lead group. Estes trying to find his way around. 6 to go in stage 2. Side by side. Estes and Breo. Estes a lot better on the brakes, but Breo has the preferred line going through the chicane, and Gaiman's going to make it a pass. Josh Gaiman's going to get around. Estes tried passing in the outside lane. Breo let him bite. And then kept the lead. Now Gaiman's got to have pursuit. Estes, the fastest driver in this group of 4, now sitting in 3rd place. Brendan Roberts holding on, thanks to Jeremy Breo being a little bit of a cork here. A cork in the bottle! That's going to be a trouble spot. Roberts back to 2nd. Roberts and Breo, not Roberts, Gaiman and Breo make contact. Gaiman tried to send it through the bottom of turn 1. But Gaiman did a good job not clobbering the sausage curbing, that heavy blue curbing. But ran wide, so did Estes. Estes had nowhere really to go. And Roberts now in 2nd place. Race is half over. 5 to go in stage 2. And now Gaiman's got more work to do as he gives Roberts a bit of a push back onto the oval. Roberts mirror driving through the oval section. Where he goes, Roberts moves to the bottom. Same thing. But Gaiman a lot better on as Roberts got spun by Estes. Roberts got spun around. Blankenship ahead of Seth Wansing. But Roberts now out of that battle for the race for the stage win. And now Breo's a bit of a sitting duck. 4 to go in stage number 2. Stage 3, 20 laps to end this race. But we are still in stage 2 by 4 laps. Estes led all of stage 1. Breo trying to lead all of stage number 2. Driving like his life depends on it, because now the hounds have been unleashed. Roberts still in 4th, Blankenship in 5th, Wansing 6th, Kent 7th, Ryan Pennell 8th, Bradley Wright 9th, Tommy Withers in 10th, but that gap between Withers and Sears has closed dramatically. The gap between Sears and Withers is 1 second. We will pivot to that battle here for just a second, as we know that Breo's going to defend from both Gaiman and Estes at the front of the field. This is the battle between Withers and Sears, 10th and 11th, for the last stage point spot in Stage 2. And again, this is vital. Withers has to score something in Stage 2 to at least try to alleviate that drama. Blankenship comes down pit lane. He should safely still be in the top 10, and by the time he gets through pit lane, Sears taking it a little bit easy. At the front, the gap has come down. 1.3 separates first and third. Ryan Pennell holding on to the area of Matthew Kent. There's a 2-second buffer between 31 and 12. That's 6th and 7th on the track here. Blankenship actually drops out of the top 10 completely with 3 laps to go. So Blankenship may not score points here in stage number 2. I'll actually pivot here, see what's going on with Blankenship. Actually might be a lingering issue with Blankenship. He might go a lap down here. This could be very detrimental. 2 to go in stage 2. We're on lap 29. Blankenship officially a lap down in pit lane. Something happened to Blankenship's car to put him a lap down. Blankenship now coming out of pit lane, but he is now firmly a lap down and behind his teammate. Blankenship, however, crucially, the first car a lap down in this situation. Donald Ray just now crossing the start finish line to take 2 to go in stage 2. Kevin Feemster in between Matthew Kent and Ryan Pennell. It's not doing Ryan Pennell any favors. So Blankenship right now will be the first car a lap down. He will get the lucky dog at this rate. Battle for the lead. Gaiman to the outside. Breo to the inside. We saw this before. Gaiman pops over the curbing. Side by side. Little door-to-door action. They all held on to it. Estes had to bail out of it because he had nowhere to go. Gaiman going to try to take stage 2 away. It won't matter, because both Gaiman and Breo, as they sit, will lock themselves in, as will Estes. They'll lock themselves into the round of 8 here, as they currently run. Last lap in stage 2. Rick James rooting for Tom Sears. Tom Sears, championship contender in all 4 of ARC's major series. Right now he sits in 8th place, scoring some stage points. He is locked into the round of 8 already. He locked himself in stage 1. Blankenship, Sears, Gaiman, Breo, and Estes will lock themselves in. So will Wanzing. Wanzing being 5th will lock him into the round of 8 with his points in stage 2 as well. So that is the top 6 locked in after stage 2. The question mark, 7th and 8th place in points. That's the big question mark, and that is the battle as we watch the top 3 go through ovals turn 3 and 4 for the last time in stage 2. We got Gaiman going through the chicane. He'll win stage 2. Caution comes out. Gaiman the winner of stage 2. Then it's Breo, then Estes, then Brent Roberts will take 4th place. Blankenship taking it easy. Seth Wanzing 5th place. Some stage points for Matthew Kent. Tom Sears got around Ryan Pennell. So Ryan Pennell had to spin. He gave up an extra stage point there. Still ahead of Bradley Wright. Still gained one on Bradley Wright. But that's still a loss of stage points there. So both Bradley Wright and Ryan Pennell have gained 7 stage points through the first 2 stages. Blankenship getting the lucky dog. He will get the free pass. We'll talk to Gaiman after pit stops here. Pit stops are going to be pretty important. The top 6, again, all in the points. Blankenship was locked in already. He won Talladega. Tom Sears, Josh Gaiman, Seth Wansing, Jeremy Breo, and Toby Estes have locked themselves in through the stage points that they've earned through the first 2 stages. Sears gained 12 stage points, but he was locked in stage 1. He was the first one locked in. Gaiman with 29 stage points, he's locked in. Wansing with 12 points, he is locked in now. Breo earned 11 stage points, which is what he needed to lock in. Estes scoring 18 stage points, locked himself in as well. Tommy Withers has scored 1 stage point, finished 10th in stage 2, so he scored 1 to kind of give him that buffer. Donald Ray still a lap down. He is the one under threat. The question is, right now, is it going to be Bradley Wright or Ryan Pennell that take that 8th spot away? As it sits, Wright and Pennell separated by 2 points still, as everyone comes down pit lane. Now here's the $1 million question right now. If you're Donald Ray, do you stay out and get the wave around? As it sits, everyone has a pit stop to do in stage 3. Stage 3 is 20 laps. Everyone has a pit stop to do. Do you stay out knowing that everyone's got a pit stop and try to just wing it? That's the big question, because he needs to do something bold. He really does. He needs to do something really bold. As Bryn Roberts actually takes the race lead here, he's up 15 spots from where he started. He started from pit lane. He started 16th. He is up from the last spot in the field all the way to the lead. Gaiman 2nd, Breo 3rd, Estes 4th, Wansing 5th, Kent 6th, Pennell 7th, Sears 8th, Withers 9th, Bradley Wright 10th. Jacob Blankenship will be 11th here. If you're Donald Wright and if you're Kevin Feemster, do you stay out knowing a pit stop's gonna happen here? That is the $1 million question that I think at least Donald Ray needs to ask himself. Do you take that gamble knowing that as it sits right now, you're probably not in the round of 8? The question is if it's going to be Wright or Bradley Wright or Ryan Pennell. Right now, as it sits, if the race were to finish right now, with where everyone's sitting right now, Ryan Pennell would be into the round of 8. They are not getting... so they are getting a wave around early because they are not pitting. So they're going to be given a chance to actually catch up to the field here. So Donald Ray and Kevin Feemster, they're both going to catch up to the back of the field here. They're going to take the green here on this restart for the start of stage 3, which is what I was assuming they might do. For Donald Wright, he needs to take this gamble. He was a lap down, and by pitting, you stay a lap down. You don't get anything. And you have to hope for more people to have mistakes. Unfortunately, Briley Wright, Tommy Withers, Ryan Pennell, any mistakes that they made have been minor. They've not damaged themselves. In fact, the biggest threat right now would be Jacob Blankenship, who has actually gone... Something's happened to Blankenship. Blankenship's come to a complete stop. What's happened to Blankenship here? Yeah, there's a problem with Blankenship's car. Oh, there's something wrong with the steering of that car. Something's not okay. He can't shift. He's not able to shift. Oh no. That's a big problem. He was not able to shift. Gearbox problems for the 85 of Blankenship. Again, he's locked in, so this means very little to him. But he is now out of the running. That is an extra spot in favor of Withers and Donald Ray. Ray now 11th, one spot out of the top 10. This is going to be interesting. Alrighty, getting ready to go back to green here for stage number 3. It's Roberts, Gaiman, Breo, Estes, Wansing, Kent, Pennell, Sears, Withers, and Bradley Wright in the top 10. They're going to skip the chicane for the restart, as they did with stage 2. And away we go! Oh, getting in the wall hard! That's probably going to be a caution. Gaiman way too hot into the first corner. His car is completely broken. Tom Sears got a piece of it. But that takes Gaiman out of the running immediately. Way too hot as Sears suffering more from that residual damage when he made contact with Gaiman. We stay green. Roberts leads over Breo, Estes, and Wansing. Ryan Pennell up to 5th. Whoa, watch out, watch out, watch out. That was Withers that cut. Donald Ray up to 8th. Kevin Feemster coming in the pit lane. I'm assuming so will Tom Sears. Yeah, Tom Sears coming in as well. Calamity at the start of stage 3. As Withers has crashed. Withers has spun around. That's in turn 1. We'll take a look at that restart and that crash. In and of itself, pretty self-explanatory. Game is just way too hot. You see as he tries to roll, that front end just not giving. So Roberts leads by a whopping 6.4 seconds over Jimmy Breo. Roberts looking for his second win in the A-Square Cup Series after winning at Texas at the start of the round of 12. While Blankenship deals with mechanical issues, Roberts trying to make it a round of 12 sweep for 1MA Racing. Roberts just at the fast lap of the race, a 119 flat. Roberts doing a phenomenal job right now. 3/10 clear on fast lap from Toby Estes. Josh Gaiman making the comment, doesn't set the brakes for fresh tires. And it's cost him dearly out of this race. Blankenship still in pit lane dealing with gearbox issues. Kerr 1 lap down. Donald Ray's in pit lane. Feimster coming out of pit. Feimster will get around Donald Ray. And Tom Sears, a little bit more damage he had to repair there. Probably not under this much of a threat as Feimster. A little bit of a drift in turn 1. For Gaiman, it's disappointing, but he's still locked into the round of 8 based on the points he scored in stage 1 and 2. Roberts doing a phenomenal job. 7 seconds the gap with 14 laps to go. Donald Ray a lap down once again, but this was probably a scheduled stop, but he's good to go from the finish from here. No one else is. A lot of other drivers have to make a pit stop. So Donald Ray will get a lap back here when everyone pits. Ten cars on the lead lap. Tom Sears, the last of those on the lead lap, and Tom Sears right in front of the race leader, Bryn Roberts. Breo still battling for second place with Toby Estes. The gap less than half a second. There's the battle. Wanzing sitting in a distant fourth, equally distant to Matthew Kent. Bradley Wright's got ahead of Ryan Pinnell. Ryan Pinnell had a mistake. And a pretty costly one. It threw him down to 7th place. He's 9 seconds adrift of the 18. This is vital. Ryan Pinnell's season hinges on this stage. .13 laps to go. Roberts is going to round Tom Sears. Estes has had a big mistake. Estes has had a big mistake. He is now within range of Seth Wanzing. Here's what happened to Toby Estes. This was going through the chicane to the last corner. Clip the AstroTurf. Oh, a lot of curbing there. And just never got the car rallied back. Spun it around. But there's Seth Wanzing, who had a perfect chicane there. But now Estes firmly out of the top 2 battle. Breo now with reprieve. Ryan Pinnell's made another mistake. He's still in 8th, but he's lost more time. Pressure getting to him. He needs to kind of pull his head down and try to get through this race. Right now, his biggest thing is trying to fuel save. Fuel save is probably his best bet. If he can fuel save here and go without making a pit stop in stage 3, that's his best bet at the moment. Bryn Roberts leading by 8.5. The gap widening as Roberts settles in. Seth Wansing up to 3rd. Estes had another mistake. Estes down to 5th. Matthew Kent up to 4th. Bradley Wright sitting in 6th. Trying to keep his playoff hopes alive. The gap is steadied out at 8.4 seconds between Roberts and Bray. We're looking at Bradley Wright, his teammate ahead of him. Bluegrass Bandits trying to make it 2 cars in the round of 8. Right now, they have that pretty well established. Withers sitting in 7th. Here's Tommy Withers coming through the infield now. Ryan Pinnell in 8th, trying to get back to the number 6 machine. Pinnell is faster than Withers by about a second. He just needs to keep his head calm. Somebody's had problems. Someone's hit the wall hard. We're not sure who it was, but someone hit the wall with a ton of velocity. As it currently sits, the round of 8 with 10 laps to go is Blankenship, Sears, Gaiman, Wansing, Breo, Estes, Withers, and Bradley Wright. Bradley Wright gained 7 points in the first 2 stages, meaning he just had to score another 5 points on Donald Ray. He's got that now. Donald Ray sitting in 10th, Bradley Wright sitting in 6th at the moment. Teamster's on an island all by himself between Donald Ray and Ryan Pinnell. Ryan Pinnell going through the field as we kind of started at the 10th place car and worked our way forward. Hoping for a little bit of a miracle. He almost made it happen, but mistakes in stage 3 have been very costly. 9 laps to go. Tommy Withers trying to hold on to his playoff spot. He entered this conversation 7th in points, but he was the one that's. I mean, he scored 1 stage point in stage 2. But as Bradley Wright and Ryan Pinnell started racking up stage points, it was very clear that he was not safe in this race. Again, both Wright and Ryan Pinnell scored 7 stage points in the first 2 stages. To Withers 1, and Donald Ray was a lap down most of this race, so he didn't score stage points. The question is, can everyone make it on fuel from here? That is the million-dollar question at the moment. And if not, how many of those drivers that are not safe are able to save enough to avoid a pit stop? Pit stops here are going to be very costly. Tom Sears has crashed. Tom Sears has crashed out of this race. Here's what happened to Tom Sears. And a hard smack of the wall there. And he immediately collapsed that right front. That right front completely collapsed on impact. And his race was done. Race leader Brendan Roberts has an 11-second lead over Jeremy Breo. Breo coming out of the chicane on the back straightaway. The only car in front of him is Donald Ray, who is sitting in the 10th spot. James Kerr sits 11th. Tom Sears in pit lane with a collapsed front end. His race effectively over. Seth Wansing. The gap is significant between Breo and Wansing. 15.8 seconds between the two. As Wansing approaches the final chicane here, he sits in 3rd. 4 seconds adrift to Toby Estes, who also going through the last corner. Locked in to the round of 8. Matthew Kent. Doing a good job. He was in the 24 Hours of Arcs event at this same track this weekend. Doing a good job in that number 31 for Team Sideswipe. Bradley Wright sitting at 6th. As it sits, he is in the last playoff spot. 7 to go. Tommy Withers trying to hold on. He's got 6 seconds between him and Ryan Pinnell, but right now as it sits, he is still safely in the playoff conversation. Then we look at Ryan Pinnell just now coming through turn 2. He is gaining time, but with 6 laps to go, is it enough time? Brendan Roberts, 6 laps away from Pater. He won at Texas. His teammate won at Talladega. It was a pair of 1-2 finishes between the two. As Blankenship locked himself in a race early. On board with him as he goes to the oval. Goes back onto the oval, excuse me. First time he's been in a Chevrolet. He'll be the first driver in the series to win in 2 different manufacturers. As things currently sit, as he approaches the backstretch chicane, calm and steady. He has done a phenomenal job in this race so far. Got spun out in stage 2, kept his head down, and now finds himself with a tremendous lead in stage 3. Josh Gaiman out of this race. John Smeal still rolling, but he's only going to get 12th here from Tom Sears. Blankenship out of this race with mechanical issues. Jason Alexander out of this race. James Kerr a lap down, same with Donald Ray. Wansing with some latency issues. 4 to go here in Charlotte. Here's Jeremy Breo going through the last set of corners in second place. Seth Wanzing in third. This is the closest battle on track between Seth Wanzing and Toby Estes, and there's what the battle looks like. Estes has closed the gap down, but can he close it down and pass with 4 laps to go? 3.5 laps to go, really. Ryan Pinnell's lost another spot. He lost a spot to Kevin Feemster. He's had an issue. Battle for third. Wanzing doing a really good job trying to hold on. Three to go. Here's the battle for third place. Gap is less than a second. Two to go. As Tom Sears remains in pit lane, again, his race effectively done after contact with the wall on lap 43. This is the battle. For third place, for the last spot on the podium. 3/10, that's the gap. Withers holding on to P7. Safer and safer now, as he just keeps himself right behind Bradley Wright. Toby Estes wanting that top 3. Pole sitter tonight. Won stage 1. But having his hands full with the number 9. Brendan Roberts, front of the field. He'll take the white flag. 1 lap to go here in Charlotte, as Estes got around Wanzing. Sent it to the braking zone and the chicane. Can Wanzing do anything about it? Doesn't look like it. Estes going to try to walk away with it here. But we're on the last lap. Brendan Roberts in a little bit of traffic. That's John Smeal. He's trying to get around. coming to the checkered flag. Make it 2 wins for Bryn Roberts. Out of the final corner, he wins at Charlotte. As Feimster spun, he did take the checkered flag, so he stays in 8th place. But that was close. Donald Ray will cross the line 10th. Ooh, it's going to be trouble! But Estes holds on to 3rd. Wanzing 4th. Matthew Kent doing a good job here. Scoring a top 5. Bradley Wright and Tommy Withers will be the last 2 on the lead lap to cross the line. Bradley Wright had to sweat it out a little bit, but he is in to the round of 8, 6th place for the number 18. And Bluegrass Bandits has a quarter of the round of 8 between Bradley Wright and Toby Estes. Meanwhile, Bryn Roberts gets another race win, 2 for the 58, and a sweep of the round of 12 for 1MA Racing. Making a case for himself for the draft before the 2023 season. Celebrating this one in style for the number 58. Really good job. He's going to blow the engine off of it. Wow. There you go. See if we can get ready for interviews here. Bryn Roberts, Jeremy Breo, and Toby Estes are podium finishers here tonight. Phenomenal stuff. All right, we're going to talk to 3rd place Toby Estes here in just a second. Toby, this is Clayton from the Arcs Racing booth. You got a copy?
I sure do.
All righty, you had a really good battle there all race long. You won stage 1, a really complex battle for stage 2, and obviously battling with Seth there for stage 3. Seemed like it kind of started off well and then it went downhill. What happened and how was it mentally trying to kind of recover those positions there?
Well, I should have took tires on the first stage. That way I didn't have to later on, or maybe just not even take tires at all. But, yeah, after I spun out in the front stretch, I was pushing hard and, can't remember what turn it was, and I hit my left rear up against a corner of a wall. So I was fighting loose all the way in the front stretch. Uh, kind of got a grip on the car and was able to run Seth back down, but kind of wish I would have been up there to battle for the win.
You were one of the fastest cars all race, obviously pole position. You locked yourself into the round of 8 pretty easily here tonight. So did your teammate Bradley Wright. He got himself into the last playoff spot. So great work all around. That gives you 2 cars in the round of 8 and what should be an absolutely thrilling set of 3 races here to set up for the championship. But now the pressure kind of intensifies, because now you got Vegas, Homestead, and Martinsville coming up next. You're one of the quickest drivers all the way around. Road courses, obviously your wins came at an intermediate and a short oval this season. So, and that's all that the round of 8 is. Knowing that you finished top 5, I think you were 4th by the end of the points here in stage, by the end of the race here. So, top 4 going into the round of 8. How confident are you, not only in yourself, but in your team, in potentially getting both you and Briley into that championship 4 through the round of 8 here?
Yeah, so tonight for Briley was obviously a huge race. So, I mean, we did a lot of practice trying to get him to feel comfortable and then be fast at the same time. So, I mean, that's hats off to him on that. I mean, it's not an easy track by no means. I mean, I feel good. I mean, obviously now that Briley's past this point, I think it'll just be totally left up to him and how hard he wants to race. And we're teammates, but hey, at the end of the day, we're going to be racing for a championship. But obviously I'll help him, and I hope he'll help me. But disappointed in tonight for me though. I After Gaiman had his issue, it should have been. I'm not saying I should have won, but definitely should have been up there closer to hopefully be there in case there was a battle, and I could kind of mix myself into it.
Yeah, that was an overall trending theme, is that it seemed like all of the favorites had issues at some point in this race. Tom Sears hammered the wall in stage 3, knocked him completely out of the race. Obviously, Gaiman had his issue at the start of stage 3. Blankenship took himself out of the race with mechanical issues. It seemed like all the favorites had trouble at some point. With the 24-hour race that happened, obviously, over the weekend, it seemed like everyone had a little bit more track time. What made this race so unpredictable this evening?
Honestly, a lot of the guys ran the 24-hour race, and if they ran the Cup car, it's they're coming into a totally different setup. They had their own personalized setups, and then going from that to the iRacing setup is, I mean, it's just, I couldn't imagine even trying to do that. Really, I mean, it seemed like to me there was no tire fall off. Uh, if you were on fresh tires, it just wasn't fun at all, and it almost took almost 10 laps to where you could actually start running. You know, for me, about 8 or 9 laps, and then I could start clicking down into the 19s. And as the run went on, it felt like the car got quicker, and the brakes felt better, and it felt more stable under braking. But I don't know. It's a tricky track, man. Especially with this next gen car, it turns left fine, but it hates turning right.
Well, a P3 all around after a very hectic day. When you're disappointed with third, it means that you had a lot of pace in the car. But you are locked into the round of 8 with Las Vegas coming up next, and then Homestead and Martinsville after that. Should be right in your wheelhouse, Toby. I can't wait to see how you guys tear it all down here the next few weeks. Before we let you go, obviously Sunday Night Football going on, and obviously we'll see what everyone's doing here after the race here. But before we let you go, if there's anyone you want to shout out, anyone you want to say thank you to, Toby, the floor is yours. Congrats on another podium here at Charlotte, a tricky Roval race here tonight.
Yeah, shout out for you. Thanks for everything you do with these races. You do a great job. I'm honestly more happy for Browley than I am for myself tonight, because this was a win or lose type of deal for him tonight. So I mean, I'm just glad from a team standpoint that he was able to get it done, and now we can go on to the next race.
Alrighty, Toby. Again, congrats on your podium. P3 for you tonight. Can't wait to see what you do at Las Vegas next week, Toby. Go burn it down.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
That was Toby Estes, our third place finisher here tonight. A really good battle with Seth Wansing there at the end of this race. Locks himself into the round of 8. And now onwards and move to Jeremy Breo. He had an interesting perspective of this race. We'll talk to him here in just a second. Jeremy, this is Clayton from the Arcs Racing booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you, Clayton.
Alrighty, P2. Lodge yourself into the round of 8 pretty early. All you need to do is score 10 points to do it, and you did it. So, pretty straightforward affair there, but missing out on the race win and a hectic race. All the favorites seem to have died out at some point in this race, and you somehow still came back to finish second. Kind of walk us through how difficult this race was, adjusting from the 24-hour race to tonight.
Well, the first thing was obviously the setup. I mean, it was a completely different setup from what I ran on Friday night. So, once I got used to that, it was actually somewhat faster than the setup we were using, which was really weird. But that might have been just track conditions and whatever else was going on. But yeah, I mean, spinning out first lap, first corner wasn't really in my plans, but it gave me a chance to, figure out how to pass cars and, you know, just see how my car was in traffic, because I did not run any practice at all, and that 24-hour race didn't have very many cars in it. So it was good to finally figure out what my car can do around other people's. But other than that, it was just the track was ever changing throughout the race. It wouldn't be consistent for more than 10 laps. I mean, that last 10-lap run there, when Bren was out there, he was running 5 to 6 tenths faster, and then all of a sudden, like a light switch, track gained so much grip that I was catching him back by, I don't know, like 2 or 3 tenths, 4 tenths, 5 tenths a lap, depending on if he was in traffic or not. And then near the end, I don't know what the hell happened, but I caught him by like 3 seconds that last lap. So, I mean, other than that, it was just it was a merry-go-round of what the track conditions were, and restarts were something else. I mean, I'm kind of glad we used that. We skipped the chicane because it made restarts interesting. But other than that, I think it was a pretty decent race.
Yeah, obviously it was a really interesting race. Obviously, Gaiman fell out of the race, Sears fell out of the race, Blankenship had mechanical issues, and he fell out. Being into the kind of getting through the last road course race of the season, now it's Vegas, now it's Homestead, Martinsville, Phoenix did in the season. Now it's sort of like the bread and butter. And obviously, you've got 6 wins this season. You're looking for that 7th, potentially an 8th, if you can get 2 of those race wins. Going back to what I think many people believe this car excels at, how much more intense does it get from here? Even though there's less cars now in the championship hunt, how much more intense does it get for you as far as how you race these last 4 races?
I mean, I think I gotta like race my ass off going into Vegas and Homestead, because I don't know what it was, but before on the mile and a halfs, before the update and before they made the cars more accurate, I could actually race mile and a halfs. All of a sudden, since they updated these cars and made them actually drive like they're supposed to, I can't finish a mile and a half race for crap in the top 10. So, I mean, if I can somehow magically get a top 5 in both the mile and a half races and just move on to Martinsville and win that, I think that'd be great. But I mean, we got to get through the first 2 mile and a halves before we can start thinking about Martinsville.
I mean, you brought up a good point. Like, you've got 6 race wins this season, and obviously we haven't been to Homestead yet. And the last time we were at Vegas, completely different conditions. If you have you put any time into figuring out Vegas? Obviously, I think we did testing when we first got the new update. I think we went to Vegas, and that was an interesting trip because I was there for that. Going back to Vegas in what's going to probably be a cooler condition, seeing as how we're going to be in October now, do you think that we're going to see a little bit more? Is it going to be more pack racing in this car than what it was last time? Because it seemed like it kind of thinned out a lot at Vegas the first time around. Do we think it's going to be a little bit more competitive and a lot more bunched up this time around?
That's probably. But not in the way of the old package where everybody was just in an actual pack. Like, restarts are going to be crazy, but after restarts, the guys who can save tires and actually keep speed in the car while saving tires, they're going to pull away, like Toby and Gaiman and all them. They'll pull away, but I think the main problem that I have is doing what they do on restarts and starts of races, where they'll be fast, but they'll also save enough tire to where they'll keep up their speed throughout the run. But for some reason, I can't do that, and I don't understand how I can't, because I've tried every single way to be able to do that, and it just doesn't work. So I'm glad the championship finale isn't on a mile and a half. That's all I really know.
Well, you finished second here tonight. It did a phenomenal job as far as just keeping momentum going. Obviously, Bren Roberts had a really good restart there, and you kind of reeled him back in. But you're in the round of 8. Now it's starting to thin. Now it's starting to get really intense. We know what's going to be what the challenge is going to be. Blankenship's going to probably be a contender in that as well. But I'm excited to see what you can do, because you're someone that, when push comes to shove, you're up there with them still, no matter what, even if luck hasn't turned out the right way. So I'm excited to see what you can do with that 74 over the next couple races and going into Martinsville. But before we let you go, obviously, you and Seth both going into the round of 8. Team Sideswipe a quarter of the playoff field now. So before, if you have anyone to shout out and you want to say thank you to, the floor is yours. Congrats on another podium. Can't wait to see what you and Team Sideswipe do going on to the next round.
Thank you. First of all, I got to thank Smooth Racing Designs. He's going to be working hard for the next few months, working on next year's paint schemes. So
yeah,
go check him out. Go support him. It'd be great. Got to get him some funding. Also, got to thank Midwest Barbecue and the whole Wansing family. I know Seth made it through the round of 8, so cool for him. Make the best damn barbecues in the whole damn country. So go check them out. And I thank you for continuing to do what you do, because without you, we wouldn't have anybody broadcasting this, and we're really thankful for you for doing it. So thank you.
I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to be able to watch everyone race every single week. Again, congrats on the P2 on the podium, Jeremy. Definitely a well-fought podium here this evening. Jeremy, go tear it down the next round.
Oh, we will. Thank you, buddy.
Have a good one.
You too.
That was Jeremy Breo, second place finisher here tonight. Obviously, he's like, intermediates may not be the forte for him now, but still keep an eye on the number 74 as he tries to race it out in the next round of the playoffs here. Next up, it's our race winner for the second time this season, Bren Roberts. Bren, this is Clayton from the Arcs Racing booth. You got a copy?
Yes, I do, Clayton.
Alrighty, man. Second win in 3 races. 1MA Racing locked out the round of 12. Obviously, your teammate had a bit of a mechanical issue there at the beginning of stage 2 that took him out of the running, but you had a lights out stage 3 and was a competitor all the way throughout this race. Being in the 24-hour race, how much did that help? How much did you have to adjust tonight?
It definitely helped a little bit. I mean, I was running with a different steering ratio, and that impacts the way I drive a lot. So I a little bit transitioned over from, I guess, just the way the track is, but in terms of the actual car, it didn't translate a lot. I just kind of had to go in and learn throughout this race.
Obviously, you did a phenomenal job in stage 3. Obviously, everyone else had the melee behind you, but you did a really good job on that third stage of rocketing away, keeping it planted to turn 1 and just not looking back. But stage 2 was a wild one, being in that mix with Gaiman and Estes and Breo, and you got spun around. Being in that group of cars, being in that fighting environment the entire stage, how different was it being in clean air during stage 3 versus being in that battle in stage 2? How much different was the car feeling?
I mean, it didn't feel too much different. It's just from a driving standpoint for me, I just don't want to get into anybody, have any contact with anybody. You know, I'm not in the playoffs, so just try to race those guys with respect. Once I got clean air and I was kind of away, I could do whatever I wanted. But once I was kind of in that pack, I just didn't want to hit anybody, you know?
Obviously, everyone in that group was sort of just battling for bonus points and just getting themselves locked in. But you've played spoiler now twice in the round of 8. You won at Texas. Obviously, Blankenship won last week, and then you got yourself another win here tonight. Now it's all intermediates. It's intermediates, Vegas and Homestead, and then Martinsville. You got 3 wins in a row. Looking at these next couple races, how much better do you feel? And I asked this question to Talladega, like, hey, how's this momentum? How are you going to keep this momentum going? Answer, just keep winning. How much more comfortable do you feel going into those intermediates at Vegas and Homestead, especially Homestead we haven't been to yet this season? How much comfortable do you feel for the team as far as getting Blankenship not only into that championship 4 at Phoenix, but also getting yourself a 3rd or maybe a 4th win going into these next couple races?
Yeah, I mean, I feel pretty good. I mean, Jacob's probably going to be better than me throughout this round, but I mean, it's so unpredictable. I didn't have any business winning this race and somehow pulled it off. I should have won Talladega, and he ended up winning, and then Texas was just kind of crazy. So I couldn't tell you, but I hope it goes well for both of us. I know he'll probably get into the championship 4. He's just too consistent, too good not to. And I'll just hope to rattle off a couple wins.
Well, you definitely got a lot of people's attention going into the end of this season and going into the start of next year. Obviously, you have the draft next year and everything. Bren, it's fun watching you race, not only on Wednesday nights, but here tonight as well, on Sunday nights. Another race win, 2 now in 3 races, again, as we said before. If there's anyone I want to shout out, anyone to say thank you to, the floor is yours, man. Congrats. A well-earned race win tonight, the last road course of the season.
Just thanks to Jared, Jacob, and both Blakes. Thanks to you for doing this, both on the ABN side and then over here. I know we're going over to ABN next year in terms of broadcasting.
Yeah.
But yeah, just looking forward to Kansas on Wednesday. Hopefully I can win that one.
Yeah, that's a fair point. We got Kansas is going to be high speed on Wednesday nights for the ABN Indy ARC series. So, Bren, can't wait to see you on Wednesday. Can't wait to see what you and Jacob put together there. And can't wait to see what you all put together next Sunday at Las Vegas, man. Enjoy this race win. It's number 2 for you.
Thank you, Clayton.
Have a good one.
You too.
That was Bren Roberts, our race winner here tonight, here in Charlotte for the Charlotte 120 at the Roval. We're going to look at the results here. Going to run down the field of 16 that took part here tonight. Bren Roberts, your race winner over Jeremy Breo and Toby Estes. They rounded out the podium. We got to hear from all 3 of them here tonight. Seth Wansing, 4th place for Team Sideswipe. I had Matthew Kent in 5th. Team Sideswipe, 3 cars in the top 5, but not the top spot. Riley Wright, 6th place. Did everything he needs to do to get into the round of 8. Tommy Withers, 7th place. Held on to his spot in the round of 8. Then it's Kevin Feemster, Ryan Pinnell, and Donald Ray scooting by with a top 10 finish here tonight. James Kerr, John Smeal, Tom Sears rounding out the top 13. Sears falling out of this race, hitting the wall on lap 43, not being able to continue. Josh Gaiman wrecking at the beginning of stage 3 and falling out of this race after being a contender in the first 2 stages. Jacob Blankenship, mechanical issue, took him out of the running on a couple of occasions. And Jason Alexander parking after 2 laps and spinning and hitting the wall in the infield section. Wednesday night on ABN, it is the Indy ARC Series at Kansas under the lights. Championship time underway. 2 races to go in that series. Again, Wednesday night, 8 p.m. on ABN. And next Sunday, we go to Vegas. It's time to gamble on the round of 8. Who's going to lock themselves in to the Championship 4 at Las Vegas, Sunday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, here on RX Racing Networks. On behalf of RX Racing Networks, Darkside Mustangs, Midwest Barbecue, and Wendy Chevrolet, I'm Clayton Hardy. You've been tuning in to the Darkside Mustangs A-Square Cup Series from Charlotte. We'll see you next week. So long, everybody.